All right, Ted, I guess you timed it perfectly with the introduction of this new Sportage coming to market. Just in the last, I guess, 3 or 4 months, we've seen compact utilities surpass compact cars for the first time ever.
Yeah, and I don't think it was really just the last 3 or 4 months. It was all last year. Compact SUVs were the number one selling segment in Canada, overtaking compact cars for the first time. And I think the functionality, utility of the vehicle is really what draws people to these types of SUVs.
Now, one thing that I don't think you get a lot of credit for is in the recent J.D. Power initial quality study, the number one brand, and it has been battling with Lexus for years, is Porsche. And number two is not Lexus or any other of the import brands or a luxury brand. It's Kia, number two in initial quality. I mean, that's something you should be telling people off every rooftop.
Yeah, and we started a campaign earlier this year. Would have been late last year, September, October. We ran a campaign with our Soul and our Sorento, which talked about the J.D. Power recognition. We actually had 7 vehicles, including our 2 category winners, that finished in the top 3. So when we are benchmarking the competition, we're looking for vehicles that are going to provide customers with confidence and vehicles that will ultimately serve their customers as best as possible.
And you want to surpass their expectations, right?
We always want to surpass expectations, and there's many ways you can do that, and quality and making sure that people have worry-free driving is really the best way we can do that.
All right, now this vehicle, the Sportage, you're kind of positioning it in the marketplace as a bit of a rebel, but kind of the outsider for somebody that wants something different, because just like compact cars, compact utilities are getting very homogenous, right?
Yeah, it's true, and you know, our I guess our corporate tagline of the power to surprise, we really want to do that with our designs. Peter Schreier is fantastic at creating unique and different designs. And in this segment, people use the term vanilla. And I would say that there's a lot of great SUVs. I mean, we're going to compete against some fine manufacturers, but we have to differentiate yourself. You have to make yourself stand out. And with this vehicle, we are going to stand out not just from a design standpoint, but from an interior standpoint and a ride quality standpoint.
And power.
Yeah, we really focused on a balance of torque and horsepower. And that's what really gives people that enthusiastic get up and go. And when they want to pass, they've got the torque band that'll do that for them. So it's going to be one of the top rated in the segment. And, along with providing the ride quality, people will just have fun driving this vehicle.
All right, let's talk about the styling, because at first when I saw it, it looks like someone's punched it kind of in the nose a little bit, right? It reminds me of kind of a first-generation Cayenne a bit from Porsche. That's not bad company. But now that we've been around it here for a couple of days in the Okanagan, it's really growing on me, and you're right. Do you want to have something that looks like everything else? This one is unique.
It is unique, but it's got our brand design cues. All of our product going forward is going to have that unique tiger nose grille. And really that's what it makes our vehicles easy to recognize. And that's one thing that a lot of companies are adopting, which is give it a uniqueness that is easily identified as your brand, but styled well enough and aggressive enough that it looks really cool.
But there's a theory about styling that you don't want to be just a nice looking vehicle. You have to kind of be a little bit polarizing in order to get noticed.
Well, I think, I look at how buyers have changed over the years, and I'll go back several years, and people bought the sensible vehicles, and there were brands that were identified with an older generation, brands that are identified with a younger generation. Now I think people just want to drive a vehicle that's fun and cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Soul is a perfect example of that.
For sure.
The Soul was a real millennial base. This is a youth-based vehicle, and a lot of older people bought it because it was easy to get in and out of and fun.
Well, and that's the thing. We want people to enjoy the vehicle, regardless of age. And this vehicle, Sportage, along with a lot of our other lineup, provides functionality and provides the opportunity for customers of any age group to get in and really enjoy their driving.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the basics of this vehicle. So it comes with a carried over 2.4-liter 4-cylinder engine, which seems to be about the size of the competitors' Rogue's 2.5, RAV4's 2.4 or 2.5. But you have sort of an ace up your sleeve, which competes closest with the Ford Escape, is you've got the 2-liter turbocharged engine that's carried over from the Optima sedan, right?
Correct. We put that in our top-line SX model, and that's because we wanted to have one unique vehicle that offered everything to the consumers, from a unique engine to incredible technology. Content-wise, there's nothing I think that we've missed when it comes to features that consumers would really like to have in their vehicles from a functionality standpoint.
Yeah, you've got heated front seats, heated rear seats, 8-inch screen, wireless charging for your phone, which I'm loving because I'm an Android user, and I love being able to put my phone there and it just charges automatically on this pad. And you've got Android Auto. You're going to have Apple CarPlay coming.
Correct. And what's nice about having a wireless inductive charger not only can you, the driver, charge seamlessly, but you still have all the functionality separate plug-ins so that your passengers or your rear passengers can still enjoy charging their phones while you're doing yours seamlessly, which is great.
I was talking to some of the other Kia people here, and I was asking, how does this Sportage fall in terms of sales? And I was surprised that it's not one or two. Number one is Rio, I guess.
Yes.
Number two is Sorento. Number three is Soul, I think. And number four is this vehicle. Is this going to move up now?
Actually, we had a question from one of the other journalists about this. And this vehicle last year sold about 6,600 units, finished fifth. So Forte was a little ahead of it. We expect this vehicle to step up significantly, 15% growth this year, 7,500 units. And I think really as we see the demand increase for this type of vehicle, when you build one that's styled the way it is and has the feature content, I think we'll do very well.
I think the one vehicle that I actually love in your lineup is the Soul.
Yep.
And if you could make that as an optional all-wheel drive vehicle, I think would be, and I think it is coming, isn't it? It hasn't been officially announced.
It hasn't been officially announced. We are researching a number of opportunities for the Canadian market. We know the importance of all-wheel drive in the Canadian market.
And I don't think it needs it. It's a sales, it's a hurdle, right? People say, well, it really looks like a crossover, has all the attributes of a small crossover, but it isn't available with all-wheel drive. And now you've got the HR-V from Honda and the CX-3. So that's the perfect vehicle for you to do that to.
Yeah, and we are researching two things. Number one is getting all-wheel drive for the Soul, and the other is in the next 3 years, I would say, we could very well have an A-segment SUV.
Okay, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Lots to talk about.
All right, so let's talk about Kia as a brand. Now, we talked about the initial quality study. You're number 2 overall, right behind Porsche. I checked the dependability study, and you're right on the industry average, but you're hoping being number 2 with initial quality, as 3 years goes by, that number will come up as well.
Yeah, and I think as we adopt the new designs and we focus on quality and we continue to improve quality, I mean, if we look at a year ago, we were below industry average, and we've moved up 4 spots. We were 21st, moved up to 17th. So it shows that we're continuing to develop and continuing to enhance our quality. It's a continuous journey. I mean, even people that are number 1 today may not remain number 1. That VDS study that you talked about, there was a switch at the top from last year. So it's always about making sure that you continue to develop, continue to adopt, and bring in new technologies that consumers want. Car manufacturers used to build cars because they felt this is what the consumers need. Now it's changed, and we're building cars to what the consumers would like to see.
Yeah, but it has to be done well. That's where you get knocked down, because if you come out with a new tech that is nobody knows how to work, you get nailed with these studies, right? So it's got to be good tech, but it's got to be easy to use.
Absolutely, and it's funny when you look at CSI scores.
What is that?
So customer satisfaction index.
Okay.
So when we look at the customer satisfaction indexes, and it's not just us, it's a lot of brands. When people step away after they've made their first purchase, they'll come back with what they consider to be problems with the vehicle. Research tells us that it's not really a problem with the vehicle. They just haven't been explained some of the tech.
Yeah.
So it's very, very important for us going forward to make sure that we have not only great technology, but technology that people can understand and that we teach them how to use, because technology is not going to slow down.
And that's the dealer level. That's the last link in the chain. It has to be right.
Absolutely. The delivery, several years ago with another company, I did a study for delivery, and we found that doing a proper delivery, making sure the consumer leaves on a high, is your last point of making them as satisfied as possible. The better the delivery, the better the CSI score.
So I remember my dad bought a car, and they said, we're going to walk you around the car, but you're not going to absorb all of this. No. Right? We've got we have once a month, we have a new customer night, and everybody comes back to the dealer and they ask all the questions like, where is this? Where is that? How does this work? How does that work? Yep. Is that a good idea?
Absolutely. We have a number of stores that are doing that. It's really like, it's almost like a second delivery. The other thing that we're working on as a company is, one of the best tools out there is YouTube. And we think that what we can do is to address those customer concerns is have walkarounds that touch on delivery aspects, so that if customers have questions, they can easily reference these from our website, and they'll be able to look at their vehicle and understand what functionality and features might have been missed at the delivery.
Okay, so you came from another import brand to Kia. Now, what was your perception of the brand before you came, and how has it changed? And you must always have that still with a young brand in Canada that started out as cheap and cheerful, right? And you're moving it up market, obviously, with much better scores. Is that a battle that you still face? So what was your initial impression of the brand? How has it changed? And how do you get that to change in the public's perception?
So before I came and joined Kia, Kia was a competitor. It was, my personal feeling was it was an inexpensive brand, had reasonable quality. I didn't know a tremendous amount, to be honest, about the history of the brand,
right?
But knew it was still young in Canada. And when I came in, the more I've learned about the brand, the history of this organization is tremendous. It goes back to when they made their first bicycle. I mean, that's how long this company's been around. In 1944, I think it was. And the company's continued to grow. We're in our 17th year in Canada. We've already sold 700,000 units, and I think that'll surprise a lot of people. It's really just getting the right message out. We are not a cheap brand. We have great value in our product, and our goal for this year is QRV, so quality, reliability, and value. And we can talk about the quality of the vehicles. IQS, JD Powers talked about the reliability of the vehicles. The value is what we're doing with our models now, which is making sure that the content meets the consumer needs and at a price point that's very fair.
And that's where I think you've done well, is that, you content your cars better than most. And so you're paying similar money, but you get more stuff.
Yeah, and that's really what it's all about, is over-deliver, right? I mean, everybody talks about whether it's work or whether it's sports, 110% in sports, all those different things. And that's really what we're adopting here, is that give that little bit extra to make sure that consumers really have the opportunity to enjoy features that they're not going to find in our competition.
But do you still find that stigma's out there?
Oh, of course it is. And it's something that's going to take time to change. I mean, if you look at some of the other import brands that came in and have 50, 55 years of experience in Canadian marketplace, they started slow too. They had some challenges, but they grew and customer confidence grew. And that's what we expect to happen with our brand, is in time, we will be recognized as one of the better quality, very affordable, and very well-contented vehicles.
Okay, Sportage is arriving now at dealers?
It's at dealers now.
Okay, what's coming for the rest of the year? Is there anything up your sleeve that you can share with us?
Yeah, we have, we call it a minor model change, but it's quite major on the Forte, which will be built at our new plant in Mexico. And then we have a new Cadenza toward the end of the year, which is outstanding. And we're still hoping that Nero will make it before the end of the year, which is it's an electric hybrid vehicle, and it's a hybrid utility vehicle. So it's kind of unique in its segment. The size is great, and the functionality is fantastic. The engine's outstanding.
Is that going to be a mainline car, or is it going to be a very niche player? Like we see with some new technology cars, they don't sell very many of them. But RAV4 is really going headstrong with a hybrid. They want it to be the number one seller.
Yeah, and I think what you'll find with Nero is we are going to have outstanding an outstanding response from consumers on this one, because the price point is I think going to surprise a lot of people.
All right, best of luck with the Sportage, and good luck with Kia moving forward. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Zach.
Thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you'd like to watch a full-length review of the all-new 2017 Kia Sportage. Click the picture on the left.